What is good, guys? It's Ray J back with another video. And in this one, I want to break down what's going on with Tesla, SPY, Nvda, the QQQ, and a couple of other tickers. I'm going to break down some very important developments in the charts and what you should be watching for as time progresses, and how things are looking in my personal opinion. But before I break the details information, before I get into any more details, let me just mention a couple of things. I am firstly not a financial planner, so take nothing I say as financial advice. And also, if you guys can, please check out the Moomoo link, which is down below and in the description. If you sign up for Moomoo, deposit $100, you're guaranteed 7 free stocks, and offer ends in just about 3 weeks. Anyways, there's some news coming out that Tesla is being investigated for securities and wire fraud for self-driving claims. The Justice Department is examining whether Tesla misled consumers, investors, and regulators with its promises for full autonomous vehicles. And that's actually something very important right now. That's part of why Tesla's dipping the way it is. Now, with this news that came out, I mentioned to everyone that Tesla could come all the way down to fill this gap and drop all the way down to potentially 170. Tesla was around 172 when I recorded that, and we did actually dip a little bit more before we saw buyers defend it after that. Now, despite that happening, Tesla's in a very, very critical place because we have something coming out and we also have some new levels. Just as a reminder, we just had our 17-week bill auction that just got released, and at 11:45 a.m. Eastern Standard Time, we have Collins' speech starting. Then we have the 10-year notes auction coming out, and Cook from the Fed giving a speech at 1:30 p.m. So you have quite a bit of data coming out, not to mention some Fed speakers. We'll have to see how this ends up affecting the markets. But with me calling that out, let me just break down something very important about Tesla. So Tesla dipped really hard. It did come down to 170. We did call the downside, and Tesla is still down almost 2% for the day. So I was correct yesterday when I said that Tesla likely has downside coming alongside the markets. But we're now in a very, very critical place where we're testing some key resistance. Tesla has resistance in this 175 zone. The 50 EMA on the 4-hour time frame is at 175.36. That is our resistance. If Tesla breaks that, it has potential to push up higher and get very close to 178. If we fail to do so, we're going to be rejecting and just continuing to shuffle around the 170s, the lower 170s moving forward. So Tesla dipped all the way down here to 170, rebounded a bit as buyers are defending it, but now it's kind of struggling at this 175 zone, close to our 50 EMA. If we break that, yes, we could rebound to about 177 to 178. If we reject here, we're going to be coming back down lower. And as right now, we're kind of stuck at the 50 EMA. That's going to be our resistance. Tesla's stuck right now, so we'll have to see how it ends up reacting. That is going to be key for this big test. Now, if we reject off this, Tesla could continue to dip. We could actually fall even lower, so watch for that very carefully. If we break through this, we could rebound, but as of right now, I'm seeing some weakness on the chart, and that is kind of shifting things. For SPY, we're turning a bit on the 4-hour time frame. This is actually showing some weakness to me. However, we haven't officially seen a massive rejection yet. So the way this went was we had this head and shoulders like structure right over here, right? We came all the way down to about 515. We rebounded to about 517.75. That now we're kind of rejecting again. So it's been going back and forth with lots of zigzag price action. But know that SPY is back in the red. It's actually starting to turn a little bit lower and starting to show some weakness as we have some Fed speakers. So to me, the chart is showing some weakness. If we lose 516.6, this range right here at the 20 EMA, we're easily dipping all the way down to the 515 area again. If we end up breaking past the high of the day, we have to try to get back above 518 to turn bullish. If we break 518, SPY could push back up to 520. As of right now, I'm seeing that it did try to rebound, but look at the trend. We had this high right here at 518, came down, rebounded to 517.7, and then now we're kind of rejecting again. So we made a high here, we made a new low relative to this low, and we made a lower high. So we're on the verge of actually seeing a trend shift if SPY continues with the follow through move. And if we end up losing this low here, yes, it could start dipping even more. So watch for that very, very carefully. We're testing our 20 EMA as support right now, and we'll just have to see if anything shifts or not. But just know that there is some weakness on the chart, and we'll have to see how well SPY holds up. With that happening, guys, I want to make it very clear that there is weakness right now on the chart. This could be a trend shift, so we have to give this a little bit more time. And once again, for Tesla, it's still fighting its key EMAs right now, still fighting at this 175 zone. We'll see if Tesla breaks this or not, or if it gets a rejection. It did dip all the way down to our target of 170 before it tried to rebound, and now it's just fighting resistance. By the way, it's still actually doing that right now. For the QQQ, this came down all the way down to 437. I did call that level yesterday. Then instead of actually continuing lower, it actually rebounded off the 50 EMA, back up to 441, and then back down it goes towards 439. So lots of back and forth price action. If we lose the 439 area, we're going to be dipping even lower, all the way down to much lower levels such as 430. we basically have 437, eventually 435, and then for resistance, we have about 441. That's going to be the key level, and we could actually continue from here. But I just want to say that right now it looks like the QQQ has a very similar trend to SPY. We had this head and shoulders, we had this high here, we came down, made a lower high, and then we could be rejecting. So this is starting to show some weakness. So we'll just have to wait and see if this trend continues. If that continues, that could be a little bit bearish for Tesla too. Apple's has like a head and shoulders like structure. It's actually coming down to the 50 EMA at 181.67. It's approaching that support, and if it loses that, it could even dip closer to 180. So I'm seeing some weakness on Apple. On Nvidia, we're also dipping a bit. We have this 892 area that's going to be approaching our support. That's going to be where our support is. If we lose this, we're going to be dipping even lower. But as of right now, I think the chart looks a bit more bearish. So right now, we're seeing weakness on Nvidia. We could drop to 892 and continue to fall. So we'll watch and see if that ends up being the case. For Amazon, Amazon, I called out 190 yesterday. We got up there. And I said we could reject off here, and that's what's happening so far. We rebounded a little bit, hitting 188. Now we're kind of rejecting back again. Watch 187 as key support. If we lose that, look for 185 and 183. So just be careful. What is a little bit stronger than what I was expecting is Meta. I thought Meta actually might approach 472 and then possibly get a rejection. But instead, what's happening is it actually got a little bit above that. So it actually tried to continue again, hitting 475. And now it's actually showing some strength relative to the market. So watch 472 as support and 475 as our resistance. We'll see which way it breaks. That's going to determine what the bigger move is. If we break past 475, look for 480. And if we end up rejecting when we fail at 472, we're going to be dipping back down towards 468. So watch for that on Meta. Meta is showing some strength right now. The VIX is kind of flat right now. It's kind of determining what it's going to do, but it's not really making a big decision yet. So give this some time. It's kind of indecisive, so we'll see how that goes. And we're just going to be very patient from here. Tesla is still shuffling at 175. We'll see if it breaks out or not. It could try to bounce, but the market is still shuffling as well, and we'll just have to give all of this some time. Tesla is now at the upper end of 175.8, so it's not bad. It's showing a little bit of strength now, trying to rebound after getting such a big drop. But just be mindful that if the whole market rejects, that could drag Tesla down too. And we haven't officially broken out of the 175s yet, so give it some time. SPY is still shuffling at this 517 area. We'll see if this rejects or not. So give it some time, guys. Thank you all so much for listening. I hope you guys have an absolutely spectacular rest of the day. And I will see you guys very soon on the next one. One last reminder. So for the data, we have Collins' speech that just started. Then we have the 10-year notes auction, and then Cook is giving a speech from the Fed. We will see how this affects the markets. The market right now, it's not really pushing up higher and even dropping very high. Right now, it's looking like SPY is starting a potential downtrend, but we need confirmation right now if we do continue to dip lower. So look for this high here. We come down, we make a lower high, and we continue. So give it some time and do what we have to do. That's going to be very, very key. All right. So once again, SPY is contracting. Look at the 4-hour, and also we're seeing something very similar on Tesla. But just give the market the time it needs, and we'll see how things go. Tesla is still shuffling in the 175s. We'll see if it gets a bounce or not. And we'll be very, very patient nonetheless, as very, very disciplined traders. Thank you for listening. Have a great day, and I'll see you guys very soon, just a couple of hours. Thank you, and peace.